Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host for the Salisbury Independent newspaper. And today we've got one of those energetic people making our community better. She's stunning. She's Grace Foxwell Murdoch. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg.
Now, you've been in the news here lately. You had this event going on, and as we all know, when these things come up, I'm like, this isn't going to work. And you had people show up downtown on a Sunday afternoon in the middle of a football game, basically, to dance. Tell me all about Dance for Kindness.
I did. It was a wonderful event, and I'm so proud of Salisbury and the environs for sending people and bringing people to Salisbury to dance for kindness. And I think it's very telling about our community that we want kindness to occur. And it was so fun to see the smiles and the energy just surrounding the people who participated. I began my journey with kindness several years ago, and it led me to Dance for Kindness through contacting the founder and CEO of Life Fest Inside, Orly Waba.
Okay.
And I was privileged to be one of the first speakers at the inaugural TEDx event, January 16 at Headquarters Live. And while I was preparing my TEDx talk, I researched if anyone else had done a TED Talk on kindness, and I found Orly, and I contacted her, and we became friends, and I used her in my TEDx speech.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you blew them away in that TEDx.
I had a great time, and the message was kindness in action, and I enjoyed doing it, and I feel that it touched people.
So the event, how many people were there?
We started on September 24th. I began posting every night how many people registered to Dance for Kindness, and I had 18, and I was a little nervous because I really wanted a lot of people to show up. And we ended the day before the event with 358 registered dancers. Now, everyone did not come, and I'm sorry for that because it was a positive, life-altering event, I feel, for everyone who participated. And I'm certain that, yes, I'm going on record with this, they'll sign up next year, and we will have an even bigger event. About 250 people danced, and we had about 200 spectators, and it was just a wonderful event. The weather was perfect. The mayor participated. I couldn't have done it without Jake Day saying yes at my first request to use North Division Street.
Right.
And it was just, we had singing, we had performances, we had a photo booth where people held up hashtags and had their pictures taken. It's all over Facebook. Just go on my Facebook page, Greg. Everybody can see Dance for Kindness.
And we have a photo gallery up of it on at Salisbury Independent website. But my photographer called from the event, and he never calls. He goes, "Did you know that this thing was going to be this?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I figured like 25 people and Grace. He's like, "There's 1,000 people here."
It felt like it. It was a sea of smiles,
Yeah.
and I think that's what was just the energy in that space that day was epic.
And it was diverse. It was terrific.
It
really
was, and we were all inclusive, and I wanted as many people. I contacted churches, schools, organizations, and I think that we will have so many more people on board next year because they saw that the positive force that this Dance for Kindness created, everyone will want to be involved next year.
How do people get things back to kindness? I feel like I'm a kind person, but people push my buttons and I'll get a bad attitude. And I need to kind of walk away a little bit, and then I go back to my kindness mode, and I can't remember how to be kind in that moment.
Well, sometimes it's challenging because we can't control everything that's going on, but we can control our space to a point. And I feel that when I'm at my lowest or when I am having a bad day, I find something to do for someone else because there is scientific basis for kindness helping us feel better, Greg, because when you are kind, when you do an act of kindness, endorphins are released and this is part of my TED Talk,
Yeah.
and it makes us feel better. And feeling better means that we are happier and we will live better lives. And I think just coming back to doing something for someone else will get you back into that kindness mode.
I know you love business books, and we'll talk about that. But in work, my kindness was always mistaken for weakness.
And that is one of the topics of many TED Talks and many books. And it is not a sign of weakness. In fact, universities right now, when they are looking at college applicants, they are looking for the kindness factor that comes with that applicant. For instance, have they gone beyond themselves to work for Habitat for Humanity? Have they served at a soup kitchen? Have they done anything on their resume that shows that they have a kindness factor? Also, businesses are finding that a kindness factor is very important because that's how they retain and gain customers.
Right. And I know I became more kind after I lost my job at the Daily Times and started a new business, and I just had to sort of fall down to the bottom to not be so not cocky about things, but just so assuming about everything, and remember that kindness was going to be the thing that pulled me out of it, that was going to keep driving me.
And that's very important because kindness helps us make connections, and connections are what keep us afloat. And when we have these connections in our community and with family and with organizations that do wonderful things, we're better off for it. It brings us joy, and that joy relates to feeling better and being a better person.
Yeah, it really is joyful. Now, the dance is a national thing, isn't it?
It's international.
International.
120 cities participated this year. There were 80 cities last year, so it's grown to 120 cities, reached hundreds of thousands of people. Because even if you did not dance, you just watched it. We benefit from kindness in 3 ways: giving it, receiving it, and just witnessing it. So it touched many people. And we will be on a worldwide montage of Dance for Kindness 2016.
Wow.
And when our piece, that it was professionally done by Jesse Campbell, a local videographer, when his piece goes forward to New York, it will say Salisbury, and we will be on that worldwide montage forever, because the internet's forever.
Right.
So it's going to bring a great perk to Salisbury.
That's terrific. Now, people tell me when they come to visit Salisbury that it's a kind town. People here are friendly. Is that true?
I feel that it is, and this certainly was a step in the right direction. And I have had people who've contacted me since the event and said, Grace, I feel so much better for having done this. I'm remembering to be kind. It is a seed that was planted that I think will bloom and grow. And if Salisbury can be reported as being kind, and
Right.
it's on that worldwide montage, and the mayor will promote it because we're a kind town, I think it will certainly attract people to come here.
I know Pocomoke City is the friendliest town on the Eastern Shore, and when I've gone to Pocomoke, it hasn't always seemed like that.
Right. Well, I know some wonderful people in Pocomoke. I have some former students who are from Pocomoke.
I used to write some editorials about Pocomoke that
Oh.
would make the people down there mad. But
I won't read those, Greg.
now, you were a teacher forever.
I was. I had a wonderful career, 38-year career, and during that career, I began a business, a professional Grace business, where I teach seminars because I stepped out of the classroom and I missed teaching so much that I started Professional Grace so I could still teach and impart knowledge.
Now, the idea of professional grace is that there's rules in the business world, or just things that you can apply to your personal life that will make you a better person.
Right, and following good manners and following business etiquette. Dining etiquette is something that I love to teach. Always fun to eat with well-mannered people.
Right.
And it's just been a wonderful experience for me to enter the business world, and I enjoy doing these seminars so much to help people be at their best. That's really what I'm all about.
The 2 business books I've loved the most, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
And I tried to sort of set myself up like that. I never understood the importance of having a mission statement and things like that, but that really does work. But then the Dale Carnegie series, How to Win Friends, I love that so much because it was the way I conducted myself anyway. And it was sort of formalized, so it legitimized the way that my personality was, and I globbed onto that. But I had someone just tell me recently it's just basically a thing for salespeople to sort of be duplicitous about how they really feel about stuff. But I really believe in these theories.
Well, they are very practical. And what we need to remember is that how we treat people and how we deal with them in business or in everyday life speaks of us. Everything we do, all our behavior, everything we say, builds our character and builds our integrity. And the only thing you really, when you put your head down at night, is all you have is your integrity. And a reputation, it was one of my best quotes that I always serve people when I speak, is a reputation is better kept than recovered. And everything we do and everything we say and how we behave builds our reputation.
And people are paying attention to us. They really are.
That's
and they're
right.
forming opinions that will never probably change.
You're going to make a difference anyway, so make a positive difference.
Now, you're a smart person. You could live anywhere. You could be an influence in any town in America. Why are you here? Why do you like Salisbury?
Well, I grew up in Princess Anne. I was raised there in a very special time, had a wonderful family, still have my brothers and sisters. And we moved to, my first husband and I moved to Salisbury because I wanted to teach here. I taught 12 years in Somerset County and I loved it. I wanted a change, I wanted to grow. So we brought our children to Salisbury, and I have been here ever since, and they grew up in a wonderful time in Salisbury and had good educations at all the elementary schools and at Bennett. And I just haven't gone anywhere else. My children are all in Baltimore right now. I love for them to come home. I love to go see them. I don't especially want to live in Baltimore, but I'm glad they're successful there and they're happy there.
What schools were you in here?
I taught at Pinehurst for 11 years, and then because I was so fortunate to get other jobs, I was in many of the schools. Beaver Run. I served at Delmar. At my last job was new teacher coach, which I loved. That was my favorite job after the classroom. And so I was fortunate to be, I was at Glen Avenue for a while. I was at Y Middle. After I retired, I went back and helped a principal with some specific teachers. I just had a grand time. I was very fortunate to have the career I had.
Now, when I was in school, I don't remember people talking a lot about kindness. They talk about it in Sunday school and church, but it wasn't a focus in school, not that I remember. But when I go to my kids' schools, kindness is a very important topic.
It is coming back in a big way. If you have watched any recent speeches to college graduates, even CEOs recently, they will interject something about kindness. Disney is even putting out movies that talk about kindness. Cinderella, most recently, the last couple years, have courage and be kind was the message.
Right.
So you're hearing it more. And if you were in elementary school classrooms, Greg, I can guarantee you they talk about kindness all the time. And that's where I really got my basis after my family, my lessons from my mom and dad. It was being a school teacher that helped me know the value of kindness to children and to others. So you would hear it in the classrooms. I'm going in and I do kindness lessons for some schools when time permits, in their schedule and in my schedule. And I really love that because it still gives me a connection to the kids. And I'm about to have buddy benches put on.
Excited about this. Tell me about the buddy benches.
Buddy benches are benches that are placed on elementary school, for the most part, playgrounds, where children who do not have a playmate can go and sit, and the whole school and the faculty is informed that if any child sits there, then they know to go over and say, "Do you want to play?" And what it does, it addresses isolation and loneliness for kids on the playground. They don't have to be alone. They don't have to walk around the playground without a friend. They will be asked to play. And I feel that children who feel lonely at school, they grow up that way, and they may turn around and be the ones that would harm some people. So the buddy benches to me are very important, and along with the buddy benches, there will be books that will be donated on kindness for ready resources for teachers and for families to use. So I
see potential
tickled.
in this. You could have it anywhere, because I could use a buddy bench.
Yeah.
And, that's such a cool idea. Now, where did that come from?
It originated in Germany. A little boy who was in second grade, he's now 13, Kristen Wood, went to Germany on a family trip, and he saw these benches, and he brought it back to his school in York, Pennsylvania. Now it's been probably 4 years ago, 4 or 5, and they're spreading across Canada and the United States. And it's a very popular project for elementary schools to place them on their playgrounds to help their all children to feel included.
What a great idea. That's so terrific. Also in business books and the business culture, what triggered that in you to think that that was something that you wanted to adapt for yourself, that professionalism?
I was an assistant principal, and as I said earlier, I miss teaching so much that I wanted to find a way to continue to present knowledge to people. And having upped my game from the classroom to the professional side of administration, I needed to improve myself. And I know that I couldn't change people around me, but I could improve how I would behave and be able to problem solve on another level outside of the classroom. So I started reading, and I wanted to share this knowledge with other people. So that's why I took on the business world. I've always been fascinated by business. I have great respect for people who make big decisions, long-lasting decisions, and I wanted to help them come through that process and know how to treat people and be successful. So that's how I came to that. And I read all the time. When other people are reading summer steamy novels, I'm reading business etiquette books. I'm reading Emily Post, and I'm reading Amy Vanderbilt. It fascinates me. And I inherited that a little bit from my mom, who taught us how to set a beautiful table and entertain people.
Judith Martin, Miss Manners, was
Yes.
I was a big fan of hers for a long time. But there was always that sort of where you kind of make fun of people who didn't know better.
She had
There's
an
a
edge,
class,
Greg.
yeah, there's a class thing, and I never wanted to judge anyone who didn't know. It was, to me, it was a discipline fascination.
She had a little bit of edge to her that
Yeah.
I would never support, because a little bit of it was
little
unkind.
class warfare.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
tend my role model for etiquette, because we had her book on our shelf, and our mom always sent us to the book about how to write a thank you note, or where do you sit at weddings or funerals, was Emily Post. And still a big fan of hers. Have a quite nice selection of her books on my bookshelf.
Yeah, help me with this. I still write thank you notes, and people don't seem to appreciate it. They just make fun of me for it.
Oh no. Trust me, they do appreciate it, because a snail mail that is not a bill,
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I love getting cards. I love writing cards. I have over 50 cards right now waiting to be written to thank people for Dance for Kindness, because I had such support. And
Yeah.
they will be getting a note right here at the holiday season. It may be in 2017, I'm not sure, but we just want this kindness to move on. So they may have to wait, but they're getting a note.
Yeah, I was at Thanksgiving dinner at some friends, and as I was saying goodbye, one of them said, "So are we going to get a thank you note again?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm thankful." And they were
sure.
like, "You don't have to send it."
Right.
But that's just what I believe in.
That's right.
I think that's what people need to do.
Well, and does it bring joy to your heart?
I feel like I've completed the commitment.
Yes.
You know, that I have a commitment to thank them and let them know that, because I am appreciative. If I'm not appreciative, I won't send
No.
a thank you
no.
note.
I think it's a good thing.
yeah.
Always. Always.
Yeah. And my kids, when I talk about thank you notes, they don't even know what I'm talking about.
Oh, sure they do. And they'll learn it more as they go along, because they'll be grateful for many things, because people will help them along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What stimulated you to give the TED Talk? When the TED idea came around, I was like, this isn't going to be this. I was, as always, cynical about it, but it was a great event. I wasn't there. I wish I had been there, but I've seen videos from it, and it just amazing. Your performance was right up there. Andrea from the library, Angela Bursler's
Loved
performance was amazing.
Yes.
What got you to do this? What?
I have always been a big fan of TED Talks. It started many years ago through my brother-in-law, who worked for IBM, and he found them and introduced it to his family. And I was at their beach house one summer, and he mentioned TED Talks, and I was hooked ever since, because you have an 18-minute window, most of them are about 18 minutes, to hear from an expert about a topic that you may read articles on the internet for months and never hear pearls of wisdom, but you have these very astute people. So, of course, I wanted to be remembered for something, and I wanted to be thought about for kindness, and I had all of this energy about it that I wanted to share. And a little bit about me was that I wanted my grandchildren to always be able to find me on the internet speaking of kindness.
That's
Because
terrific.
I want that message out there that you can stand for anything, but standing for kindness will always be a plus.
Yeah. Who's the kindest person you've ever known?
I would have to say my mother was one of the kindest people I've ever known. I have great memories of her doing for other people, always baking extra bread to give away, always thinking of someone who may not have someone to dine with at special holidays, so she would bring them to our table. I have colleagues in the education world who would knock your socks off by what they do for other people. I won't name them individually. I could skip someone, but they know who they are,
Right.
and they are all giving all the time and happy about it. We can feel oppressed sometimes in giving. You feel like if one more person asks me for that, but if you find joy in the activity, and if you know that if you feel that it's making a difference, I would say go for it. I would say involve yourself, because it will make you feel better. It'll make you have wonderful memories so that you can sustain the other things that are not so wonderful that you have to go through. And we all go through those times too. So if you have great, exceptional memories, they'll help sustain you through the hard times.
What about these people who say, make sure you do one kind thing a day? I mean, that wouldn't be enough for me, but...
Well, I created a bracelet that I hope people do 12 kind things a day,
So you want
Greg.
12 things?
Yes, I want you to move 12 beads a day, but you don't have to give it all the time. You can just see it, or you can receive it,
Okay.
and you can count 12 acts. I'm thinking there are very few people who don't do at least one kind thing a day. All we have to do is smile. That's a kind thing to do with anyone. It can change their day. Just a pleasant smile. It's our best accessory, after all. I'm thinking one kind thing, yeah, easy to do. We can do that. And to intentionally think about kindness, because it's out there, Greg. If people will just notice it and accept it. We have trouble accepting kindness sometimes because we think, oh, we're not worthy, I'm not a good enough person. No, we're all worthy of kindness, and we all deserve kindness.
So this bracelet thing, how did that get started?
It started out of something quite sad, Greg, and that was the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut in December 14th. We're coming up on that terrible anniversary.
3 years?
Right.
Yeah.
In 2012.
4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my niece lives in Sandy Hook. And Beth Ann and I were immediately on the phone, and I wanted to hear what was going on and support her. And she knew her children had been through that school. They weren't affected, but they knew families and children. And I felt that those teachers who were lost and who tried to save their children were my friends, and those children were my children. So I wanted to think of something that could help take the focus off of the tragedy, and I started researching. People were counting kind acts. It was all over the internet. Let's send them things. Let's do things. And I wanted to count something to intentionally help people think about kindness. And that's how the kindness bracelet came about. I researched it. And I decided that I wanted a kindness charm on all of them. And every bracelet I make has a kindness charm, and then I put a few extra charms on. But it has touched many people, the bracelet has. And I hear stories all the time about children who count kind acts, and that is where I want these seeds planted. I want children to know that kindness is a wonderful
So you make them for
practice.
friends, or how does this work?
I sell them at a couple
Okay.
retail places, and I do make them for friends, and I have gained many friends through making them, and I do not keep my profits. My profits are going to the buddy benches, and they also go to giving to organizations. Yesterday on Giving Tuesday, Kindness Bracelet profits were spent on helping people in our community. And I have always wanted to be a philanthropist, and I realized that my bracelet was not going to pay my mortgage or my car payment, so I decided to give it away. And I became a philanthropist with $20 here, $25 there, and it's been a blessing. I feel very blessed for having taken this route.
That's terrific. What about events that might be coming up? You're going to do the dance again next year.
We will do the dance again next year, and we are doing tying up loose ends, because every participant was sent a certificate where they can fill in their name and put it in their scrapbooks.
Oh, good.
I hope all the children do that. Mine was a volunteer certificate. The other certificate is for the dancers, and I hope that they will keep it, and next year look at it, and next year be ready to dance again, and there'll be a new song, there'll be a new freeze mob. The freeze mob was interesting, where people stood in frozen positions, because it makes us remember to stop and think that kindness is occurring and how we can help it occur.
Right. In fact, I've got an error in this week's paper. There was a mannequin challenge at the Turkey Trek. And they were doing a mannequin challenge, and I thought these people were congratulating this kid for finishing the race, so I wrote the caption that way. So I'm going to have to put a correction in the following week, because it was a mannequin thing. But the freeze mobs and the mannequin stuff is just great fun.
I said on Facebook that we nailed the mannequin challenge with our freeze mob. We were well ahead of the curve. So, yes, it was thrilling. It was just exciting.
Some time ago, I read about a festival, I think it was in Wisconsin or Minnesota, a hug festival. So it's kind of like a third Friday event, but everyone gets a button, red, green, or yellow. Red is don't hug me. Green is hug me, don't ask me. Yellow is ask me before you hug me. I would love to do something like that here, because I love to hug people.
We could do that. We could do that. And I'll tell you who your person you can hook up with is Jamie Heater at Arts and Entertainment District, because I could not have put on the Dance for Kindness without the help of Jennifer Whittington, who was my co-leader, and Jamie Heater, Arts and Entertainment District, who gave us a grant to do the dance. And I'm so grateful.
Well, it was funny. I was downtown recently, and this was played out on Facebook, and I'd hugged Mayor Day somewhere, and I could tell he didn't want to hug me, and I really wanted to hug him, so he was like trying to let go. So I wrote a thing about how funny that was, and I was downtown, and I was like, gosh, I would love to see the mayor so I could hug him. And he got right on Facebook right away, and he came over from his office and hugged me, like down on the plaza.
See how that works?
And he was going to send Jamie Heater out to hug me too, because they do the hugs. But it's just, I think we could do like a hug thing here.
It's catching, it's contagious, and if it's positive, I think we should go for it.
Right, and they sent me a link about you should have 8 hugs a day, or 8 minutes of hugging a day, or something like that.
Well, a 3-second hug is heartwarming, but a 20-second hug is therapeutic. So be careful how.
Yeah. Is the school system going to pay for the benches, or do you want to raise money for this? Or
I am providing funds for the materials.
Okay.
And the benches are being produced at the Career Technology School.
Okay.
Parkside, and also Somerset County is doing it. My friend Dr. John Gaddis is providing them in Somerset County.
Great guy.
I am providing the money for materials. 6 benches are coming to Wicomico very soon, and they're all covered in Somerset already. And it'll be all over Facebook when that first bench goes on that playground.
Because we'd love to help. I would love to help
Thank you.
with that.
Thank you. And I hope you'll cover that, because we want it shown that kindness is happening on our playgrounds.
Well, Grace, tell me something that I can walk out of here with that will help me be a kinder person today.
I can tell you that kindness occurs all around us if we will only pay attention. And if you don't find kindness, then be the one who offers kindness, because it will make you a healthier, happier person. My guarantee.
She's Grace Foxwell Murdoch. We're thrilled to have her here. I feel better just having been around her today. Grace, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.